Good evening. Welcome to the Lower Macungie Township Board of Commissioners Workshop for April 27th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Could you please join me for a pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item 2, report from the Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce. Hayden.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chloe Kromposki, and I am the manager with the East Penn Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Hayden Rendy.
And we are your East Penn Chamber of Commerce liaisons, along with our colleague Jessica O'Donnell-Gower, who couldn't be here tonight, but she sends her best wishes. We wanted to take this evening to introduce and reintroduce ourselves as your local chamber liaisons, and also to share with you our work within Lower Macungie Township and the surrounding communities that make up the East Penn School District. East Penn Chamber of Commerce is just one of the 30 chambers and councils that make up the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce. The Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce is the 6th largest chamber in the United States, and we are the largest chamber in Pennsylvania. The chamber's mission is to improve the economy and quality of communities here in the Greater Lehigh Valley. We want to thank you for your partnership to showcase your newest playgrounds to the community over the last year or two, and we would love to continue these type of partnerships or initiatives you have in the works, or for new things you might like to see for the township. We don't do this work alone, as we have a great group of board members who help us accomplish all that we do. We are grateful to have Kylene Gill, Denise Folk, regularly attending our board meetings to keep us up to date on all things Lower Macungie. We want to thank you as a board, as well as Bruce, Renee, and Stan for the ongoing partnership for the newly implemented Veterans Banner Program.
Thank you, Chloe, and thank you again for the opportunity to speak to all of you this evening. I know there's some new faces in the room, so we just wanted to introduce ourselves. We are proud to have Lower Macungie as a chamber member, and we want to make sure you as the board know what all that entails. Your chamber memberships gives each of you and all the employees opportunities to attend our networking gatherings, partner with us in us sharing and marketing your events, and providing referrals and connections to other members, just to name a couple of benefits. These are the same benefits your local businesses receive when they become a part of our chamber network. As Chloe mentioned, our goal is to improve the economy and quality of our communities here in the Greater Lehigh Valley. We do that in many different ways, like our East Penn Restaurant Week, which was held back in February, as well as luncheons, networking events, and community festivals for businesses in the community alike to be able to connect with one another. One event we would like to highlight that is coming up on June 3rd is our Inside Look Tour back at Smooth On. So right around the corner in the footprint, this is probably the third event we've done with them over the last 10 or 12 years, sells out every year. So it'll be from 11:30 to 1. So if any of you are available, we'd love to have you join us, and more details are available on our website, lehighvalleychamber.org. We are here as a resource to you as municipal leaders, as well as the businesses that call Lower Macungie home. Please feel free to reach out to us with any initiatives that we can help the township market and plan, or any ways we can be of support to the community. We're happy to answer any questions anyone might have at this time.
Well, thank you for coming, and you used the word resource, and you are a great resource to Lower Macungie. And the example I'm going to use is the Veterans Banner. We struggled a little bit with it, but with your help and participation of our staff working together, to me and a lot of people, it's a great program, and there's nothing better than honoring our veterans with those banners. But myself and the board, we thank you very much for your help.
Absolutely. Thank you for your partnership on that. It's been a very rewarding program to hear people's stories and honor your people like yourself, Ron, in that program.
All right. Anyone else have a comment or question for Hayden and our partner?
Awesome. Thank you all for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Moving on. Review engagement letter for independent auditor. Bruce.
Thank you. I just wanted to start earlier in the year on an item that it's necessary that we look at from time to time. The township, of course, has an independent auditing firm that looks at township records. That is Mealy for us. They've been with us for the last several years. They're currently completing our 2025 audit components. Like I said, we're trying to be a little bit proactive. We've reached out as both myself and the finance department and the director leadership there, I would recommend that the board continue along with them. They've provided us a quote at this point with the cost for potentially the next 3 years. You see they range from $36,750 to $37,750 in 2028. It's necessary that the township only appoint year by year on an annual side. So when it would get closer for us to have the board consider this, probably in September, October, we would have a resolution that you would authorize us to proceed. So just getting it on the radar. They'll be here, I believe, in June to review our 2025 numbers. And of course, any questions that the board would have for them. Just how this compares a little bit. Our 2025 cost is $36,250. So we're up $500 in the world of accounting. We find this still to be, fairly competitive and on par with what our peer communities are seeing as well. So just putting it out there. If there's any concerns, or like I said, especially after they're in and you see and review their work, let me know and we can make sure we're set up and ready. So that's all. Just a super brief update about that. Once again, if there's questions, let me know.
All right. Just one comment. I know it's a review, and I know you're working on it, Bruce, and I don't know if Mark is involved with that also. So I think we're in two good hands here to give us info on this. Any other questions for Bruce or the solicitor on this topic? None. All right. Item number 4. Update on requests for sealed bids. Bids due April 27th. The first bid is 2026 roadway maintenance program, and the second one is 2026 high performance chip seal quick set fog seal program. Megan.
Hi, so we were able to open the bids today and we received one bid for each of the projects. It was our typical bidder, Asphalt Maintenance Solutions, LLC. We released 2 letters earlier today recommending approval of, recommending award of both of the bids. The roadway improvement program.
Could you pull the mic a little closer?
Absolutely. Sorry. The roadway improvement program, which is the double application of asphalt seal coat, came in at $156,357 and 50. $156,357.58. As far as the fog seal, that one came in at $246,067.70. So we were able to recommend award of both of these projects, and I'm happy to answer any other questions that you may have.
And I would mention, with review from the Public Works Department as well, we are comfortable with this firm. They've done work with the township in the past. We've also reviewed our numbers. Our budget out of the capital fund was $250,000 for that fog seal program, and that 246 is right on it. We'll have a little bit of engineering dollars for the bid spec and the pre-con meeting, but we run that operation in-house with Doug's kind of oversight, and then a couple employees oversight on that. So we're comfortable financially on that component. The other one for the roadway improvement program side, we budgeted amounts in liquid fuels for both a road paving project as well as this. And right now, with these amounts, we're about 60,000 under budget. So we feel like we're in a fairly good component with that, knowing, we always may have some changes on that side of it that we might have to address throughout the project. So I don't want to steal Doug's thunder, but we're on budget. We feel it's a good and reputable company, and would be having this on the next agenda for the board to consider for award.
All right, one question. We only had one bid on each one of these.
Correct.
I know when we usually only have one, we do try to get two, but beans we were, like Bruce said, we're comfortable with this and we're under budget for it. And Doug, if you have anything to add.
Just want to add to the board, excuse me, that's approximately close to 5 miles of roadways will be resurfaced, repaired, and rejuvenized. So that's close to 5 miles.
All right.
And just for a little bit of clarification, this bid was posted onto the Penn Bid site, which statewide bidding network for these type of construction projects. We did have multiple vendors that took bids. However, they did not respond and submit bids. So it did go out. I'm just trying to do a quick look here. Sometimes people take them just to view or to see what materials, but there were several other asphalt type companies as well, but AMS was the only submitter. So it was bid and put out to everybody.
All right, any questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item 5. Review agreement with Civic Plus for the Civic Rec software. Bruce.
Thank you. So for the board's background, the township maintains several IT platforms for our various operations. They are through the Civic umbrella. We have a master services agreement. They provide our Engage software, which is our website, and that component. They also cover our 911 or our auto notification system in Notify. One of the other components that we use them for is recreation management. So when you register for a program, you're taken to a portal. You can select and create memberships, things of that nature, and allows you to shop our programs. CP or CP Pay is the actual credit card transaction component of this function, as well as that website that you see for the recreation management as covered by this part of the agreement. So this isn't for the website or the Notify. However, this is for that third component. It will review year to year as an auto renew. Just for the board's background, we're about $2,500 more than our current year. We were fairly flat on increases before that term, so it's in line with the other software side. But after each year, in year 2, you would see a 5% increase. It's their standard business increase. So we are used to the software now. We've probably had it since 2020, I think we rolled it out, 2021. So we would recommend that the board consider approving this component. Mark has a resolution drawn up. We didn't include it in the packet, but it would be it'd be ready for the next meeting.
So this, just to clarify, this is only for the rec sign up part of the agreement?
Correct. Like the facility management, rec sign up.
Okay.
That's it.
Do you
the yard waste passes. Sorry to interrupt you. The yard waste pass, we issue the card now through there.
Okay. And we don't pay like a per transaction fee or anything. This is just a flat fee for the whole year.
This is the component on that. We do pay a per transaction on the CP Pay component. If someone's running credit card, we do see a fee for that. Okay. This is the actual hosting component to provide that for us, like the portal access.
Okay. Have you priced any other ones lately?
We haven't lately. I think there's probably one that we had before. There's RecTrack and a couple other ones. We just haven't looked to kind of change away now since we're fairly new, but, yeah.
Okay. Is 5% what you expected for the increase?
Yes, because we've seen it over our other platform, our website plus the Notify. They were good for a fairly long time where they held those rates when we first went with them for everything. And post COVID, everything kind of rocketed up, and we were notified when we started seeing those increases. So.
Any more questions on this topic? No. All right, moving on. Item number 6, update on investment services, Freedom Capital Group. Bruce.
Yeah, so I'll try not to butcher this too badly. The finance department and the team has been working on this alongside, but we had talked to the board previously about different investment opportunities for us to look at. As we reviewed with Emery, our finance director, we're in various entities at this point right now, like Pliget, that's the Pennsylvania local government investment side. We're in a state-related, like school district operation that we can invest in. We're also with various financial institutions as well, so banks. And what we wanted to do is to kind of divest further, and this gives us another opportunity to look at some different platforms. So Freedom Capital, they're like an independent brokerage firm to allow us the portal to look at CDs, treasuries, municipal debt, and those type of situations to invest in. Freedom has another partner that they're like the broker-dealer, a company called Cetara Wealth Services. So they are the kind of investment arm of what we're looking at. They're allowed to do the transactions for actually the brokering and purchase of those sides. And then we have a third component of this, which is Pershing Bank. So that's where the money actually sits, and then we invest it. So the idea is Freedom gives us a lineup mostly on CDs or laddering and tiering our investments, makes recommendations. They would look to Cetara and them to execute those transactions, buy municipal debt, engage in CDs, and that creates our opportunity to kind of go into that side of it. So we included a little bit about Freedom Capital in your packet. They're registered in 20 states. They have some various municipalities that are clients, as well as some authorities, one even in the Valley. So we're looking with legal at this point to see what we would want to do to designate them as a depository. Mainly the bank is number one, and then in that resolution probably acknowledge Freedom and Cetara as those brokerage agents for that component. But wanted to gauge the board's interest to see if we were proceeding kind of down the right way here. Like I said, we think it gives us just a little bit different opportunity and a little bit additional assistance to kind of build that laddering and make sure we're in the right spot. So a couple moving pieces, but.
So this would be in addition to the current investment opportunities?
Correct. Yeah, we would not want to eliminate those at this point. And we're looking to focus, I'm sorry not to interrupt you, but focus just about $1 million, those recreation impact fee type areas. Keep the other monies invested as we currently are. We have some rolling investments in there as things are expiring. Look for those type opportunities. So.
Okay. And maybe it's not you, Bruce, but Cetara, it looks like Freedom Financial, the same guy worked for Cetara before. Could we explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I can look at that a little bit and see and get additional stuff here. He was as I understand it, like a representative for Cetara. Huh. So he is independent. However, his items must go through Cetara. So he had his experience with them, and as I understand it, broke out and created Kratom Freedom. I can see how long they've been around on that side of it, but yeah, that's as I understand it, he can't look to do the extra brokerage part through us. He's more of the advisor. Cetera is the one that accomplishes those buy orders,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it would be good to understand how long he's been in business like this. And did you say that someone else in the valley is working with them?
They are, I believe it's a municipal authority. So, yeah, and Ms. Dobson actually had experience with this setup at her previous employer as well, where they had been holding various investments. So he says in his letter, on a quick look, he's 15 years on that side for Freedom. So.
Yeah, it just looked like there might be some overlap 2021 to 2023 with Cetera, so.
Yeah, let me follow up and then I'll get more information.
Okay. Was this the only group we considered, or did we consider others?
This is one of the only groups we consider at this point, just because we were so kind of spread out with other opportunities. So we could always look for additional if the board would kind of like us to go out and see that. But that's why we were kind of focused on maybe more of this opportunity.
Okay, thanks.
Any more questions on this? You know, how much did you say? We're looking about $1 million to?
About $1 million in there to try it out, see where we are, how things go.
And I know it depends where it's put, but the insurance on that, does that only cover to $250,000, or if they put it in 4 individual locations, is each one $250,000?
As I understand it, it's spread out over these different bankings, because you might buy, bank X for this, bank Y for another of that component. Yeah, so good question, but that's how I understand it. I'll make sure that's the way it is, so we're spread out and covered. Also, that banking institution purging has to be, have collateral collateralize those assets that we may have in it. As per the first class township code. So Mark has a copy of that part to start to look through for us to make sure that we've met our requirements there as well. Good question.
We have goals for return on these investments, like keep up with the market, keep it more liquid?
We would be looking to, like I said, kind of ladder some of those investments. So you might be a 6-month, an 8, or a 9 a year if we're seeing certain rates. So you would be locked into certain parts of that tier at various rates. So we're seeing, and we get those. I actually receive these updates from Freedom Capital already, just kind of a daily mailer of where things are in the market. Hey, you could go in this municipal opportunity at this rate, and then we're seeing basically market, CD wise, maybe a little higher sometimes, or the sheet may have 25 listings with 25 different banks of where they are, what you want to consider. So as I understand, Ms. Dobson kind of would get that information, should then design that ladder with assistance to make sure our monies were expiring appropriately in those timeframes, and then work on those investments. So interest would come back to us. It could be in various ways, whether it's monthly if we set up, or back into the kind of the purging fund when those CDs expire out. So.
And then in terms of how they get paid, is it based on return? Is it a flat fee? Is there a combination?
As I understand it on the Freedom side, and I did ask her for additional confirmation, they get paid not from our side. They get paid by the back end of those investment opportunities that we choose to engage in. So they receive something from banks or financial institutions if we buy a product. So I think they're all every different one would have a different link to a different bank, and I'm not sure of what fee side that would be on, but the fee is on that end of the institution and not on us, as I understand it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good question, but you said they'll make their money on the back end of the deal.
Correct.
And does do we know what percentage would that knock down our yield on it?
We don't. I don't have those numbers. So you would get the yield as presented. You know, if it's 3.8%, it's 3.8% through, not 3.8 less their commission, as I understand it. It's whatever they have worked with the financial institution. That's a separate type agreement for vending their services.
All right, so it wouldn't be on the township
As I understand it.
back end
Yeah.
commission, if you want to call it.
Correct. As I understand it. And I'm going to write that down as well to follow up.
Hey, they probably can't predict this, but did they give you a range of returns for the current conditions?
Like I said, I usually see those every couple days, so they are varying. You know, that I saw some the other day that were, you know, trending up. Of course, some are down. Some banks are offering less, depending on term. So it seemed comparable to what I've seen in other, you know, just direct purchase. Some of those, and of course, you know, when you're looking at the municipal investments, you know, for us, identifying municipalities that have a less, you know, debt risk, sometimes you're a little bit lower, but you're more stable, where, you know, like everything, if you're a lower bond rated side, they may offer a little more return on that side. So, yeah, they seem comparable and in line. Nothing like, you know, they're guaranteeing 10%, 8%. It was, you know, 3.8, 3.9, 3.5s on the longers. But it trends every day, and we do see that. So it's right in line with the market.
Okay, any more questions? All right, seeing none. Item 7, review updated policy for the municipal complex digital LED sign. Bruce.
Thank you. Ms. Flexer has been working since our new sign got installed last week. We had a current policy about signage and people that can display to the sign. We have a draft copy circulating internally for those items, you know, that says, like, you know, the township, the community center, those type of opportunities. Of course, we get to go on the signboard. We're looking at those emerging as Renee's flipping hers around here for me to look at, because we have a new update that came this afternoon. We're looking to have things like the fire department on there, Macungie Ambulance, Historical Society. So those groups that are township groups for township related business. So it's not like we're running random things onto the board down there. Currently, I believe, Renee, the older policy says like township and community center. Those other entities weren't kind of involved in there. So we thought it would be good to have something so that everybody knows the process, you know, having designated administrators, whether that be, you know, Renee, department head, you know, Doug, Vince. If you want to post something, you're going to submit something in writing. You're going to put on there what you want to have. We're going to make sure that it's compliant with the policy, you know, all of those basic things, and set those parameters or expectations of where we kind of think we should be. So once again, limited to us in here. Well, not us in here, but, you know, township operations, where we're not making this thing like an advertising component. We're not engaging in things that aren't relevant here. So early draft. Like I said, we just had another copy going back and forth today. Renee gave some additional comments. So I'd like to circulate it to the board, see what you think. If you have any suggestions that you might want to see or things we missed, we'll gladly take the feedback. So.
Okay, and this sign's less than a year old, correct?
The sign's brand new, so it was budgeted for this year. It just got installed Thursday. So we're up and running now. It allows us to do a little more detailed display than the older sign. We have more finer LEDs in there, so we can do clear pictures, a little more dramatic things. So with that, the design and things we can hopefully offer in there are a little more robust. So yeah, we thought new sign, new policy, and we can start it fresh, so.
And I know Renee runs the show with the sign. How's it working out?
I love it.
It's working good.
I'm getting geeked out.
As Renee has been building, we've been looking at those things that we need to identify in there. And, we've also looked to, if you've noticed, or if visitors have come to the campus, we actually have some digital signage internally now. So down in the vestibule for directional signage, upstairs at the window. If you've ever been to the community center on that side to the public, we have a big display right when you come in, and then a display on the left-hand side where they run programming and, advertisements for things they have going on there, like Community Day Friday, and all of those things. So we said, all right, let's look at a digital sign policy for all of those things as well, so that then there's an understanding on kind of how those things happen. So,
back to my original question from when we started, what was the purpose of inserting the stuff for for that thing from KPMG? The books of the Mellon.
I think I know what are you talking about, the packet about the Freedom Capital? It was part of the packet for the Freedom Capital Group. Is that what you're talking about? The letter from KPMG in the packet?
What does it have to do with anything?
It has to do with the bank that Freedom Capital Mortgage uses. They published a clearing statement or something like that. I think that's all it is.
yeah, like an acknowledgement statement.
This isn't the contract. This is more like marketing materials for the investment company, right, Bruce?
Yes.
Yeah, we will be waiting on the contract, which my office will obviously review, but it was part of the clearing of this bank that the township is considering using.
Well, I didn't need to see that, and I found it worthless.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm glad you did see it, Maury, because it brought it to my attention, and it reinforced that it's my wish that legal reviews that also. And Mark was ready for you, Maury. He had the answer.
Yes, he saw it all.
Yes, but no, I'm glad you've seen it. Thank you.
I think just a quick highlight too. I think for us, we want to make sure as a staff, especially on the finance side, because we know how important it is to the board, and they do have that as that marketing component, but tell us about that entity. We want to know about Pershing, and they provide that, KPMG type review that, they're a real bank. They're, been kind of audited on that side of it. So that's why we kind of put it in there. We had a, kind of substantial packet. We also want the board to feel comfortable with like who these groups are and what they're there for. So I had her include all of that light reading page after page, just to make sure. Yes, very dry banking statements. So yeah, that was more for background on that end.
Okay. So to bring it back to the original topic that we were talking about, how often do we get a request that is an outside group? The reason that we have this policy probably is because there were multiple requests from outside groups, or are we just trying to get ahead of that?
So, yes, we get a lot of requests from the library, monthly requests that they'll give us like their programs for the entire month. Also for the Macungie Ambulance Corps, they're going to be having an event. They asked us if we would publicize it. The fire department, we try to keep up with all of those requests.
But currently, we're not doing anything for any of those three groups you listed?
We have been doing it for them.
Yeah, I thought I'd seen them. That's why I was.
Updates the policy to include them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been posting. We need to update the policy to include that we can post.
Of course, it makes total sense, and I don't think anyone would complain that the three entities that you said, I mean, I understand that they are separate, but at the same time they are
And in
Laura
addition
McConaughey.
to the TVs that are in the foyers of both buildings, it would also include like what runs on like RCN Channel 66, because content on our TV station that's running down in the foyer.
Good to know.
All right.
Can I ask-
Another question.
Sorry, a follow-on question for that. The RCN stuff that you're talking about, is that visible anywhere else? So somebody who doesn't subscribe to RCN, could they see that online somewhere else?
So not the content that's running on the TV downstairs. However, the recorded meetings for the Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners, that does run on Service Electric, Channel 50, and it's like 2 or 3 days after the board meeting. That we also started running on the TV station for RCN as well. So you can watch the meetings live, or you could watch the recordings on there.
And I think when we look at our Service Electric franchise agreement, if we're able to get that back here at some point soon, we actually ask for that kind of live stream. So much like we have our RCN side, incorporating that live stream component into the Service Electric. So then you would get that actual slide playlist as well, plus these meetings. So we don't have it posted anywhere else, like on the website. So we don't have like a revolving, just our latest news. So that content is restricted kind of to this building, community center. Well, not restricted, but it's only at this building, the community center, and on our TV network right now. So.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It could be good to publish it elsewhere since you already have it generated. I'm thinking it's probably a slide deck.
Yeah, so it's actually through our IT company, and they have like an online portal that we can go and we can put in certain playlists to certain TVs.
Hey, also, I don't know how it works, but YouTube, you can get our meetings on YouTube. I don't know if somebody puts them there or
Right,
how they
so-
get there. Or,
We upload, we're recording right now on Zoom, and then we take that Zoom recording and we upload it to YouTube. You can watch it on our YouTube channel, but you can also view it on our website. We
So-
embed the video on our website.
yeah, there is more than 1 or 2 or 3 roads to get to watch our meetings.
Correct, but I might have misunderstood. I thought you were talking about the playlists of our activities and events.
I think it's good to know. I mean, it's good to reiterate where you can watch the
Yeah.
meetings, but I guess I'm thinking, so like, I mean, I have YouTube TV for my TV service. So, where else can folks who maybe don't subscribe to those other ones, whether it's on social, whether it's on the website, Instagram, whatever, if it's built through the IT portal, then it might not be as easy as just, putting up a slide or putting up a graphic.
As soon as we get those cable franchise agreements and new hardware installed here, we'll have our own channel with Service Electric and possibly Verizon.
Yeah, but it's also, people could be missing that messaging that's coming or things we're pushing here. So our announcements that are playing, hey, a rec program, Earth Day event, something that's going on here that we have in this building. How can we push content out in a different medium now? Because there are people that, a lot of people that don't have cable. So how can we harness that maybe and push that message?
Well, and even just, we have a big township. So if people aren't on this side of the township and they're always on the Route 100 side, for example, they don't come out this way, they don't pass by. So how else can we get that to folks? And, because I think a lot of people would be interested in it, but, I think the more ways we can touch people, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
Okay, any more questions on this? All right, item 8, manager updates. I'll roll them both together. Smith Lane Bridge Replacement Project and updated agreement with iSolve Payroll Service Provider. Bruce.
Thank you. So kind of the first item here. So we had budgeted in 2026 to look at the replacement of the Ash Lane Bridge out on the western portion of the township. As we explained to the board previously, we know that there was going to be some potential development in Upper Macungie out that way. So we were kind of in a hold pattern on replacing that component to see where things went. However, it's necessary that we get bridges replaced and continue with our ongoing, maintenance and replacement plan. Our next bridge up in our priority rating was Smith Lane Bridge, also on the western portion of the township. It serves Smith Lane and one residence at the top of it, as well as some access to township open space and trail path area. So the reason why I wanted to talk to the board and have a discussion, knowing that we can't kind of get ash at this point unless we get a little more information, and we're pushing our time frame here for the year for construction before winter. We pulled out our next up bridge, Smith. We are or have been working on it. It's permitted for the DEP side to do that crossing, and we had talked maybe a little while ago. I don't know if with everybody new on the board at this point, we looked at doing Smith Lane a little bit different because of the one house up there. We've been putting in concrete bridges throughout the township to replace metal ones for a little longer lifespan, about 50 to 75 year lifespan. For Smith, knowing that we have kind of a lower impact there, Doug and I kind of looked at a product that we're more familiar with from our previous days, and that's more of a metal type, as we would say, prefab type bridge with a wooden decking. So they build these things in Pennsylvania. They ship them on like 2 tractor trailers down here. They assemble in about 2 days for the actual bridge component. So it's a little bit different, rated at like HL 93 rating. So, I think 72,000 plus pounds on 3 axles. So we think we're okay on the fire truck side for that access. Like I said, we know the lifespan might be a little less on these things. We've seen in our previous project experience, we didn't use galvanol or anything. We were still seeing about 15, 20 years with the ones that we're familiar with, same company. So we thought this was a good alternative to look at for down there. The pricing that we have for both the bridge and with this, much like our sewer and storm sewer project, we're able to look at vendors through Keystone Purchasing Network co-op purchase to actually prepare the site and make it ready for the bridge to come, and then assemble that bridge in place. So we have our lowest pricing on there. Was like $262,000, which we think compared to the $600,000 Ash Lane price, the $565,000 Gun Club price, and then the $500,000 Gaiman road replacement. We think for serving a limited type situation there, we think the $262,000 is appropriate, and being mindful of costs while still delivering a good product that's going to get us some lifespan. We did look at the galvanol part of this instead of just the straight steel. Ms. Flexer has a couple pictures out of like an assembly guideline. This isn't the bridge, but this is what the bridge looks like, how they assemble it. So you see the metal components on the actual guide rail sides plus the superstructure. They then assemble that wood going horizontal, basically. They butt that up against each other. When you're complete with that, they'd put a membrane on top of that and then would pave that to give us some additional roadway surface. So this is what they show in their assembly instructions. As I said, you see the structure steel. To the right is the guide rail post for it. And they just lay those in. It's a fairly quick process. If you have to replace those, it's squeezing those out and kind of just putting them back in. We've seen, not that they have them in this side of the state, but we've seen, significant loaded trucks on the gas well fracking component lay these bridges, and, were put on township roads as well. And they handled, heavy duty extreme service for months at a time with tractor trailers and other tandems. So just wanted to see if the board had any issues with us potentially moving forward with a bridge replacement and not having it be ash lane, knowing that we budgeted $675,000 for that project. We're about 260 plus, additional construction management for that component through engineering. So I think we're probably sub 300 for the project. Just want to get some feedback.
All right. Well, just three comments. Just so we reach our fire truck capacity, which you said that's still not confirmed yet, if I heard you right.
We haven't to quote the HL 93 rating. We'll make sure with engineering I believe it is. So I just always know that we're mindful. It's, I think, 72,000 pound 3-axle, which is where we are on our fire truck side. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. So
and 72,000 would let anything that has to get back there over.
Yeah. And I would also note, as part of the warehouse development plan at the top of Cogden Hill, there is a gated, padlocked emergency access roadway for fire apparatus as well to come up that, open the gate, and get to that top part of Smith Lane too. So in case that roadway's flooded or something would happen with the bridge, there is an alternate access. I know there was a lot of potentially concerned citizens that we were building bridges on Smith Lane to allow more truck traffic. That is not the case. As I said, that's a locked emergency fire truck access site only up there though.
All right, well, you answered my question. That's not the only access to the warehouses, because I know when this was initially discussed years ago, the warehouses can always have access in Smith Lane, if I remember correctly.
It's locked, so they can't. Only for fire trucks to get up there. It's
for emergency service.
Correct. Locked and secured.
Right, and then...
or for the residents, I would say, that one resident on the top to get services to them as well.
Right, and then the good, half the cost of Gun Club, and that style bridge that's been around since I'm a kid. I remember seeing bridges built out because it almost looks like 2x4 standing on end. And I remember seeing them riding my mini bike around in the Poconos.
Yeah,
so that's nothing new.
They build this product in Pennsylvania too, so it's a Pennsylvania manufactured company.
All right, that's any more questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, did you say the lifespan was 15 to 20 years?
I've said we've seen them that way so far with our experience. We haven't
just the surface or the substructure as well.
That's the superstructure in there at this point. Now that bridge was still good, right? As far as I saw it when it got put in. Doug saw it a little more after that, 10, 15 year time frame. So, there was some rust on the superstructure. Those weren't galvanal. So, they were still up and functioning. I mean, I want to say the one was 40 feet.
40 foot.
Yeah.
Like 44 foot.
So I don't want to tell you this is a 30-year plus bridge, but I can tell you I at least know that it'll last 15 potentially where it is. So,
but if I'm doing the math on that, I mean, we're the original option was somewhere in the 600 range, and this gets 15 to 20 years. But
our concretes are about they're preformed structures, almost boxes.
Yeah.
So concrete, you're talking they'll give you 50, 75 year plus on those. We didn't look at a concrete in here knowing the cost of where it was. If you're two of these in 40 years or two of these in 50 years, we're kind of in the same spot.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I guess I took the shorter math, the 15 years, but I think you think that there's more life than that.
Yes, I can only say what I've seen, and that's from personal experience. I've seen 15 at this point. So, yeah, I think you're going to get a little bit longer lifespan, especially out of the galvanal where we are.
Is there any sort of guarantee that it lasts at least a certain number of years?
No, it's not guaranteed on that side of it.
And is the driving factor due to the materials or due to the cycles, the number of trips on the bridge, or the weight of the vehicles, or what's the main factor driving that lifespan?
Well, I think, a lot of times I don't want to misstate the engineering side, but a lot of times, use plus maintenance. So, we're salting these bridges. We're putting down those things that aren't very good for bridge beams. So, the more you don't maintain things, or some bridges, if you don't paint them, you're not doing maintenance, so now you're in a worse off situation. So, look, driving a lot of traffic, I'm not the technical engineering expert, but driving a lot of traffic across the bridge, I would say, gives it wear. So I would think that that's not the best thing, right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a combination of the materials and the weather wear, as well as the cycles of use. And all of that is calculated, and then you get your lifespan, which is a combination of all of those factors.
So do we see this bridge as having a lot fewer trips than some of the other ones?
Yeah, with one house up there.
Yeah.
Hopefully people want to use the trail network there, because it is a nice, 3/4 of a mile trail out there. So once we finish the parking lot a little bit and make it look a little more appealing, maybe we'll get more visitors, but I don't see very much traffic going on that bridge.
And then in terms of maintenance, would you have more maintenance with this than you would with the concrete? Like, just in terms of both time and money on the maintenance side?
From my perspective, public works side, the maintenance would be the same. Over bridges, clearly once a year we clean the bridge decking. So we clearly go down and clean the bridge decking once a year. And if I may add, from my previous experience, we have 4 bridges where I came from, and one is 22 years old. And it was not paved over yet, and a couple of boards have been replaced, and one has been paved over, and it's just some painting, but I would say they're definitely longer than a 15-year time span. Okay. I'd say more towards a 25 to 30.
Thanks.
What's beneath this one?
I-beams, I think.
No, running under.
The stream.
Stream, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to see that bridge at the beginning of its life for 10 plus years, so I haven't got to see it past that component besides driving on it.
Just one comparison, and the engineer may confirm this. Our Wild Cherry Bridge, remember the issue with that was the similar I-beams, and it was the beams corroding. And the maintenance that we had with that was we used to paint the prep and paint the I-beams underneath to extend the life. But could that be put in the contract? Is there like an enhanced coating for the I-beam going with this one that wouldn't kill the good price for it?
So we have actually galvanized in the spec. So you're going to see a galvanized component instead of that straight paint. So in the township, you're right. Actually, in all the metal bridges that we had, and we still have 2 that we have to be mindful of. Besides Ash and Smith, we have the bridge at Camp Olympic as well as Orchard Road. All of the bridges prior to my arrival here upon replacement went metal and they went galvanal. So you're seeing that lifespan on that component. We changed the spec and went to concrete just so we get even more life. And when we started doing the concrete, they were comparable to that galvanal metal. But yeah, you're right. So like Orchard, we actually put a bid out several years ago for that and Campo and Ash Lane to paint, and that pricing came back so crazy high to get that done. We said, well, we're going to replace Ash, so let's hold off on spending $700,000 to paint a couple bridges and where that is. So we've, the engineer has worked through to galvanol it, so we should see that additional life as part of this pricing, and that's a great question on how we're kind of handling bridges, knowing that cost to paint, you're looking at a significant portion of a ability to replace.
With that style coating, I don't think we do paint it. No painting involved. All right. Well, that's all I have. Any more questions on the bridge? No. All right, Bruce, the updated agreement with iSolve.
Yeah, and just back on the bridge, we'll make sure Mark's working on reviewing our finished review of our contract documents for that quote, and then would have something for the board to consider in the near future here, so we can get moving. We're about 10 to 14 weeks lead time for them to actually fab the bridge, so it would be in a position to get it out here and try to do the install work. So we're pushing our construction timeline. That's why we kind of wanted to get this in front of everybody now so that we're moving. All right, I saw...
One more comment on the bridge. Mark, you may remember, and this bridge it don't apply to because of the reduced traffic, but we were starting to put a timeline clause in. And I think it was because of Wild Cherry. They told us, 2 to 3 months, and it ended up being, 5-6 months on that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's necessary for this, but unless you do.
In most contracts now, we usually put a completion date in. For not just bridges, but for public works in general, playgrounds, so forth. We've been doing that in almost every contract, I think, that's come in front of you, at least for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
so,
we have not done that, and it bit us, but I think if they have a timeline where it'll bite them, they seem to not sleep on our jobs.
Yeah, I agree. I always recommend that we have a completion date in.
And I think, it is important, extremely on this one, knowing besides the gated access back there, this one residence we got to make sure the old bridge doesn't come out. We're sitting for 5 months waiting for the next component while this residence is inconvenienced up there. So we have a little more legwork to do with the property owner for the gate on the top to coordinate with this gentleman. We have done outreach already from the department just to kind of let them know that we're working on this replacement. But that time frame is important for where we are.
Just one follow-up, Mark. Are we putting fees on if they're late?
Liquidated damages. I don't know if most of the contracts that we've seen have had liquidated damages, and we have discussed that. It generally depends on, are you getting a great price that you want to risk it, other factors like that. So I have not seen the contract for this bridge yet, but when I look at it, Bruce and I will talk and see if that's something that we want to entertain. Thanks.
Okay, moving on.
Yep. So the township maintains an online payment type system. It's through a company called iSolved. They handle our actual. We do the payroll and submit it in-house. However, that is the platform that we submit for the payment component, looking at your W-2s, all of those things as a staff. So that company used to be called JetPay long ago. JetPay got, purchased by iSolve several years ago. The finance team is looking always to take us to the next level. We're thinking about, and they're mapping out the ability for some of our employees, like part-time employees and management staff, to be able to submit online payrolls. Now we have a form that we all hand fill out that moves over. And as you can imagine, when we staff up, 50 plus people in the summer, that's always a little more legwork logistically. But also accurate record keeping, getting all those timesheets from those staff back to this building. So our company iSolved offers kind of that online platform you can do from your phone. So we kind of envision those summer camp counselors being able to check in, check out. That goes to their payroll component. So with that, there is, of course, a cost. They're looking at about $1,500 to implement, then an additional like $475 a month to do that hosting. So we're currently around $300. When we ramp up and have those additional payrolls, it's about $600 per month. So it's about double the cost of where we are to unleash this part of the platform. So we're in the early stages. We have that paperwork that we provided the board, as well as the kind of add-on service form for that. I just got it to Mark, so we're not quite ready for where we are. However, we would think in the near future, would like the board to consider it. It takes about 6 weeks build out. So for us to hit our summer staffing, we're going to need to get moving on our end. So we're turning this around internally fairly quickly, but wanted to kind of put it in front of the board, see what your thoughts were, if we should keep moving forward with it as a staff. So we think it's a good idea. Like I said, the finance director and assistant, actually found this idea and wanted to engage it as part of our operation. And I think I've been very supportive because I think it could get us to kind of the next level. So
basically you're saying that an employee would show up, let's say they're working at a camp, they would show up and they would check in remotely each time instead of filling out a sheet and handing it to their director.
Yes.
Got it.
And you could put in, not to interrupt you, but you could put in requests for like time off, for approvals. We know we can't institute for the entire workforce at this point, but we would want to roll that out to certain segments and see how that goes.
Sure. And iSolved, I'm familiar with iSolved and other payroll services. When was the last time that we bid it out? If we were JetPay, that's at least 7 or 8 years ago, and they were.
Yeah, we haven't. We haven't. We've been a long time customer on that side.
But we're still happy with it. I mean,
yes, okay. Yes. So okay. I think there was some talk about some other payroll providers, but I'll see who else they kind of reached out to. But on our end, we haven't been looking to make a change.
The only reason that's great. The only reason I say that is that some of the integrations have become. The biggest companies like Paychex, AD Computer, ADM, have become very good at integrating kind of your 401ks, everything into one platform that an employee can look at one place instead of having 6 logins, which isn't essential, but it is convenient.
Yeah, we were happy that in the recent years we've been able to have people go to direct deposit on that side of it. So we're working through the next component.
I'll wheel it back here.
Yeah,
I'll wheel it back.
We're hopeful we can keep that momentum moving on that side. So,
yep, iSolved sounds like the plan.
Understood, though. Understood.
Got it.
Do you have any feedback, or has anybody looked at the interface to confirm there's not going to be a lot of complaints on the interface?
They are looking at that part at this point. The deputy finance director, this has kind of been his project, so he is. I said, is it easy to use? How are we going to have it? They're trying to make sure we're not going to have issues.
And then I guess considering like the camp counselors, they're going to be like 1 or 2 people out at a location. So using like a tablet or a punch clock equivalent is probably, using their phones individually sounds like it's probably the right thing to do for that situation. I'm thinking maybe if the pool folks would use it, would you do maybe a tablet kind of, or something like that to check in there, or would you still have everybody using their own phones?
I think the purpose down at the snack bar at least is to have them continue to check in with their own phones. Okay. I don't know what the login is specifically so that there's no confusion going into those tablets. I think they're trying to get it for each individual. So.
Do you know if there's location built in so that someone can't be like, I'm at home logging in?
Yes, there actually is. So that was one of the things we had discussed. You can set up a geofence. You would know, where they were. if they were on site.
That's kind of what I was thinking with but yeah, if there's a geofence that's good. Yeah.
And then with the increased costs, which is clearly going to help with efficiency, is there cost saving at some point?
I don't know if we've really looked at it for a cost savings component, more for that integration into that technology integration. So, yeah, that's not the component, but we're trying to get a little more easier for our additional staffing.
I mean, writing down hours this year is probably...
You guys could probably at least get a rough estimate on how much time it's taking for someone, whoever it is, to manually input those numbers and then send it off to payroll. It's probably substantial.
Yeah, if I can offer anything, Bruce, so I was a department head, so like this morning I wasn't here Friday, so I had to run around and get everybody's timesheet, and I'm looking at just, so for me, I could have done that over the weekend. Everybody got it into me on Friday. I'm at home, I could have. So efficiency, yes, 100%. So, for something like that, and to come into the
modern world,
the next stage.
Just knowing that you're having to do that on your weekend is enough reason for me to be.
Well, I'm just saying, for me this morning, then it was like I was off Friday, and so 100 other things going on, and that's, so it's efficiency part would help a lot.
Great.
Yeah, big part of this is the shift. The employee's responsible to put his time in versus the foreman. And then also, if your check's messed up, it was on the employee, which be that way, but
For mine, it's like 35 guys.
Right.
But there's part of the CBA, so it's a little.
No, I lived this transition when I used to work, and of course, the guys in the field would complain initially, but then it just another month or 2 or 3, it just became a way of work.
Yeah.
Do you have I'll assume that everyone's going to have a phone, but do you have a plan in case someone doesn't have a phone, loses their phone, something?
Yeah, the rollout at this point is, definitely for those fuller time components. Most of them are sitting here in the room. We do have township phones, so we'll be covered on that component of the implementation. We'll work something out for those camp counselors and that other part-time staffing. Of course, for those in the buildings, you would have your terminal, that component. So at least like part-time community center staffing or that component would have that available. So.
And to go on that in the field, again, when I used to work, the leaders would put in for maybe 4 to 5 people if everybody didn't have a mobile device. So it's a big difference versus the foreman putting 40 sometimes. And I don't know if we call them leader or crew, the chiefs. We call them chiefs. The chief would handle for his crew, which runs 4, 5, 6 people. Yep. Anyway, I think it's a good idea.
Awesome. So we're gonna get that ready. I would ask the board to consider that here at an upcoming spot. A lot of good questions on that. We'll have some good follow-up. I know Ms. Dobson will be here when we move through these, I think. So that way everybody's questions are good to go. So those are the items I had, at least on my end, unless there's questions of things going on. A reminder, community days, of course, this Friday, 6 to 8, fireworks at the conclusion at this building. So, appreciate everybody's efforts. Everybody's been really moving forward here to make sure it's a successful event. Just a thanks to we had the Penske company in that was doing a cleanup last week, so they mobilized and cleaned up various areas of the township for litter. The Earth Day event that we had as well over the weekend. Thank you to all those volunteers and attendees. And you'll notice as well, the garden club was doing some improvements up at the community center. So they spread some mulch, worked on the butterfly garden, got everything. You'll notice some little signage now, maintained by garden club. So they did that all volunteer work. So thanks to them on that end. But unless there's questions for me, those are the items I had. Yep.
confirm Community Day is 4 to 8:30.
4 to 8:30. There you go. Fireworks at 8:30. I'm on last year's time. 4 to 8:30.
Just checking.
Yeah. We'll be started here at like noon, so 4 to 8:30.
All right. Is that all you have, Bruce?
Yeah, unless there's questions for me on anything that's floating around.
Any questions for Bruce? All right, item 9, department reports. I'm going to ask Vince, I don't want to miss him. It's time.
I do, so yeah, thank you. Just 3 things I'd like to talk to the board tonight, and so I'll jump on Bruce's thing with Earth Day. I don't know if you were referring to the tree planting this weekend, Bruce, or not. It was? Okay, so the EAC and LCCD did a tree planting. They planted 55 trees out of Smith Lane along the walkway. Great turnout, and I just want to, again, thank EAC and LCCD. So, second item is, I just want to talk to the board a little bit tonight about what I had in my report was, I was approached by the Pennsylvania State Police as well as their vendor, Flock Safety, to see if the township would be interested in purchasing license plate readers for different areas, streets within the township. We've been working internally with staff, trying to gather the information. We've received information from state police. We've also received information, sample contract from Flock Safety. The contract would have the township purchase, or I should not purchase, lease. We would lease the equipment, the license plate readers, and then the maintenance would be included in that annual lease. Currently, it is $3,000 per unit, and we're not decided on specific locations at this point. This is just merely informational. So where we started the process is at the Public Safety Committee meeting that we had. Pennsylvania State Police, along with Flock Safety, gave a presentation to the Public Safety Committee. A good presentation, a lot of good questions from the Public Safety Committee side. At that point, the Public Safety Committee recommended that it come to the board for further research, and I just wanted to bring it up tonight to get on the board's radar. I'm not going to ask for specific questions tonight, only because I don't have specific answers. We are continuing to seek the procedures and policies, along with help from the solicitor's office, to nail down those policies through the state police, and then work through the contract with Flock, so we can have better answers before we come back to the board. So along with that, though, the state police and Flock would like to give the board a presentation. We're not ready at this point until we get a little more background information that we can provide to the board. At the time, if you feel comfortable, then we can bring them back, have them give the presentation here at a workshop meeting. So
just to comment on that, I was approached also, and just so we understand, and that if it's the same project, it's not to monitor our township people, it's to help them with outsiders trying to escape from other areas passing through, our bypass corridors or things. Like if they would put an alert out for a license plate from Stroudsburg or something, and if it would get a hit in Lower Macungie, it would help our police force, the Pennsylvania State Police, do the right thing. So the little I know about it now, sounds like a great thing.
Yeah, so that is true. So it is. This is a different system than what typically most police cars have in their vehicles now. The vehicles, the automated license plate reader is in the vehicles, and that reads every license plate that passes a police vehicle. Excuse me, and that picks up such things like registration, inspection, if it is a stolen vehicle, anything like that. The way that the license plate readers work is it only looks for that information if there is something inputted. Okay, so if there is a crime and they're looking for a specific vehicle, they can input that information even if they don't have a license plate, and then it'll pull the data from different places, like just like Ron said. If it's Stroudsburg and they share the information with the Pennsylvania State Police, then they can look that up, and if there's a hit in the township, Pennsylvania State Police can respond to that area to try to locate that car that may have been part of a crime. Okay, so it's taking the data, but it's not using it unless there's a specific vehicle or crime committed that is inputted in. So that's the difference, my understanding, in a little bit that was presented, as well as what we've spoke with State Police and Flock Safety on. So that is correct. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer what I can tonight. I'm not looking for any kind of consideration for the board. Just want to give this as a point of information, and that we're going to be doing further research, on this topic, and we'll be bringing it back. So,
I was just going to add, I think it's a great thing to pursue, get all the information, figure out if it's what we want here in the township. But I have an employee that is a police officer, and we occasionally just talk about what's going on in that world. And one of the things that he has brought up multiple times is that kind of serial crime, the people that are just lifelong criminals are always up to something. Those people, used to go 10, 20, 30 crimes before they'd finally get caught, and now they're getting caught the second time or third time because there is just so much surveillance that goes on everywhere. I mean, you're always being tracked in some way, which those are the people that, for so many years were driving up crime rates and all that stuff. So I think it's something that we should definitely look into all the way to make sure that it's something that's good for the township.
Yeah, and I think another point, thank you for that. And I think another point that, and I'm not here to give the state police data. They're going to come and do that. They're going to give their presentation.
Yeah.
But one thing that, I also took away from it was, missing persons. They found an elderly person that got confused, didn't know where they were, but they got in their car. Somebody saw them, either left the bank or somewhere that they saw them, and they were able to locate that person, within an hour. So it's used for multiple things, not just that crime aspect, right? So, so again, just want to see if, the board wants us to continue getting more information.
I've seen a lot of negative publicity about this, so I would certainly like to know more about that, because there's been a lot of negative press, and a lot more about the negatives of this versus the positives of it. So.
My only question was, can they give us a presentation? And you already answered that.
Oh yeah, so they have a full presentation ready. They, State Police has partnered with North Whitehall Township, as well as Hanover Township, Lehigh County, and they both have went with the Flock system, Flock Safety System, LPRs. They go on existing poles, light standards, and PennDOT allows that. There are no special permitting through PennDOT to put those on the poles. And, to your point, Melissa, yes, I've seen it as well. And I think that's, part of the items that we're trying to, gather all the information so that we, can give it to the board, and you can make your best decision from all the information, right? Not just, one side or the other. So, again, that's why, we're not ready tonight for State Police to come and/or Flock Safety, but want to bring the board, and that way I can get that feedback and take that back, and we can, try to get those questions answered. And if we can't, when they come, they're going to have to answer those questions. So.
Okay. Anything else, Vince?
Just one item. The zoning hearing board tomorrow night, just have a one residential item in the West Coastville Commercial District. Applicant is seeking relief to expand an accessory structure. So That's it. Nothing further. Nathan is here tonight in person, so if we have any planning related questions, I'm sure I could get him to answer them. And if not, if you have any other questions for the department, I'd be happy to answer.
Any more questions for Vince? All right, I'm going to save Nate for a little later. Doug, do you have anything for us?
I submitted my report. The only thing that I'll add, also, following the community days, the next day on Saturday is a shredding event at the community center. That's 10 to 1. Other than that, if any questions about report, feel free to ask any questions.
Any questions for Doug? Just one comment. I've been going to the recycling center, compost, what do you call it? Compost center. Yard waste center a lot lately, and it seems to be running very, very smooth over there.
It's very busy.
It's busy, but it's smooth, and
thank you.
Even the citizens are acting normal, so it's going good. It's going
I'll pass
good.
it on to staff.
Right. And any more questions for Doug? All right, Nate, you're up.
Yes, sir. No major reports for this evening, other than the fact that we are working to get the grants out for their deadline. And we did receive one Planning Commission submission for the May meeting, and we shall wait to see if, following staff review and discussion with the applicants, if that'll be put on the agenda or not. And that's all I have for this evening. Happy to take any questions, though.
Any questions for Nate? Well, that was short, Nate. I thought it'd be a long one. All right, Solicitor Mark, do you have anything for us this evening?
No, nothing from the legal department.
Anybody else have anything? All right, moving on. Public comment on agenda topics. Julie, Ixnay, nothing. All right. Okay, it is 7:23 p.m. The Board of Commissioners workshop is adjourned.